Well, as promised, it's time for the initial Shark Cage 2.0 tour. Now, I've just walked in the door, the people door, and you can see the Sharkmobile is parked inside the mark-off line. The mark-off line was left from the previous occupants. I don't know, it's kind of convenient to have a little bit of guidance, but anyway, we come in, we've got this open space that may, at some point I'm thinking I might put an office in here, so I'm keeping this initial open space kind of open and not letting it get bogged up with too much stuff, because I want to see how that impacts my space for operations. So we'll see how that one plays out. But anyway, there's, typical admin kind of tapes and a whiteboard for notes and things like that. Anyway, the general flow is, let's start out with e-waste. Computers will come out of the Sharkmobile. They will get staged over here. So if I was at the Sharkmobile, we would unload from here. They would get staged over there. And then what that allows me to do is come over here, pick up a piece of e-waste, come over to the work area, the processing area, put the, some jeans that are rag, is a rag right now. Come over to the processing area, work on it. You all may remember this. This was something that that one of my subscribers gave to me. Very, very nice. Turning it into my primary workbench for e-waste now. When I break stuff down here, I have set up bins on the other side to throw stuff in, and because it's new and I'm getting used to it, I've labeled. So I got the power supplies with no wire, I've got low grade, mid grade, green motherboard metal socket, motherboard multi-socket colored, and then fans. Now the idea is I'm breaking something down, I just chuck the big stuff over there. The smaller kind of things I can very easily turn around, and I'll have my charging cart workstation set up right behind me. You remember this from the Shark Cage. So aluminum heat sinks, slot cards or gold fingered cards, gold cornered BGAs, pinless CPUs, and I still haven't figured out what I want to do with that bottom bin there. I just, for some reason, it keeps escaping me what I should put there. Smaller kind of things go here. ICs, flat packs, gold connectors, brass, gold fingers that I snip off while I'm in process, yellow tantalum, black tantalum, MLCCs, or I might put odd tantalum there and then MLCCs. Anyway, this will be for the small stuff. This is stuff that I want to do more work on. I need to get back to it or put it someplace. So like with these gold pins, I want to take off the plastic and then put those in with the gold plated material, that kind of thing. I should get out of this habit, because that actually slows me down, because I've got to go back to touch that stuff again. But that's what we're doing right now. Now, the other thing that I have is, if you see over here, as I'm working on a computer here to my left, I have in the Shark Cage 1.0, where I used to have to walk. I still have to walk a little bit, but not as far. I still like that, stretch my legs out kind of thing, but I'm not walking as far, so it's more efficient. I can walk over here. I've got large socket motherboards, small multi-socket boards. I'll have bins for, here's large multi-socket, large multi-socket metal, gold connectors. I still separate them, these bigger ones, USBs and other kind of small connectors here, and then the ribbon wire connectors here. I may just go to one, but for right now, they're getting separated. These are miscellaneous bins that came over from Shark Cage 1.0 that I need to do some separating and cleaning and processing on, you know, like backplane boards and those kind of things. These silver connectors here, DVD hard drive armatures here. I got to figure out what I want to do with those. I don't break down the hard drives anymore, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those at this point. We'll figure something out. Those are more odd kind of boards that I need to work on, like, you know, the connector boards from big telecom connector switches and things like that. Got to figure out what I want to do with them. Then over here on this side, okay, right now I've still got stuff that I need to get organized from the move-in. There's some silver-plated stuff up there. Here's some copper toroids and stuff that need to get broken down. These all need to get processed. Again, these were just moved. This is my hard drive shelf. So what you saw me do, and I'll get back into that routine, is when I pull a hard drive out of the computer, if it's not a 1 terabyte or greater that might have resale value, I'll pull the board off. The boards go into a box, and then the hard drives with no boards go here. Some hard drives have very small torques that are a pain in the butt. I don't want to waste the time on them. For other reasons, I'm just going to sell them as hard drives with boards on them, and those will go in here. And of course, I've got a bunch here that I need to go through from when I was getting ready for the move out. There's a bunch of laptop hard drives that might have some value for resale. There's some solid state ones in here, so we'll see what we're going to do with that kind of stuff. CD-ROM boards. And then again, these two are things that I need to go through. These were just when I was getting ready to move out of the Shark Cage, stuff went into bins. I need to get them better organized. This is strategic reserves of things like tantalums and MLCCs and materials like that. They're in containers. Then I got to decide if I'm going to pull that all out and have those spread out more, or just leave them like that, and then dump the what I call the tactical bins, the operational bins, you know, like yellow tantalums would go in here. When this gets a bit full, then this gets dumped into the container that is storing them for the long-term hold, eventual sale. Now, you've seen me use these drawers before. So, Mylars for future work eventually. RAM, 2, 4, and 8 plus gigabytes. Eventually I'll go through those and have some of those offered for sale on the website. And here is other RAM kind of stuff. So silver RAM, process type cards. These are factory blanks. The refiner that I'm using wanted me to separate factory blanks from RAM that was depopulated, so these are factory blanks. And then there's some metal covered that I'm either going to take the metal off or sell it like that. I haven't decided what I want to do there. There's some Pentiums that I need to work on depopulating. Green fiber, black and brown fiber, gold pinned CPUs. This is going to be generally kind of gold bearing material kind of stuff here. This is the CPU area. So you see I've got it labeled for the various types of I series that BoardSort purchases. So when I find an i3, 5, or 7, you know, I can go right up here. If it's a 3rd gen, it goes in here. I just sold a box of these as part of the move, so I don't have any in here right now. And then when a bin gets a little bit full, then I know it's time to send some stuff off to BoardSort. Now I also have trays here for EEPROMs, so the odd type CPU kind of things go in here. Here's some ceramics. There's some other, you know, just some of the oddball DLP chip kind of things. All right, so CPU section, and then these are just BGAs. I got to figure out where I'm going to put those. I'm just not quite sure yet. Wire, just all the number 2 goes right in there. And then underneath of here, underneath of the workbench, and this is where I'm going to make some adjustments as I process stuff. But right now, what I figured is regular RAM that just is going to get sold as gold RAM to board sort just goes down in those bins. RAM with metal on them goes down in there. Sometimes I will cut off the motors, transformers right away, so they go as small motors there. I think this bin is going to be for cell phones and iPad, tablet kind of stuff. I'm not quite sure yet. The shelf behind there is a little bit inconvenient, so right now that may just become more of a storage kind of thing for back there. Over here on the right is shred material that's from the breakdown, not the carcasses themselves, but smaller pieces that will need to go in. Now remember, when I had my smaller table, which is over there, it had a hole in it that I could push little screws and bolts down in. That really wasn't as convenient as we might think. Frequently stuff was falling off on the deck anyway. So what I've just decided is I'm going to have a bin right next to me, and then I can, as I'm, it actually works out well. I'm left-handed, right? So I unscrew something. Usually it's stuck on the screwdriver or the socket. I pull it off and chuck it down here. So it's a nice flow for me. And after I get done and there's stuff sitting on the counter, a swipe and it can go down into the bin. All right, so then we have buckets for the miscellaneous kind of things like the copper aluminum radiators, copper stackers, fans that and I got to get back in the habit of breaking the fans down as I'm doing it, or I'm toying around with some way to take those fans, and I can sell them as computer fans as they are. I don't get much money for that. If I break them down and take the little motor part out, I get paid for the wire, I get paid for the little motor at a much better rate because I've gone through and gotten rid of the extraneous plastic. So, boy, I'd love to have just a big ball mill, throw them in the ball mill, let that grind away on stuff. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, once I've completed working on a computer, the empty shell can then get staged here so that those are ready to then get loaded back in the truck for a shred run. So that's the primary e-waste area. Of course, that's going to develop the more I process stuff and get, and think through things and say, oh yeah, I should have done this or I should have done that. E-waste is my primary thing, so this is the prime spot location for me. All right, now we also do other kind of things like appliances and such. So the idea here is I offload the truck, they get wheeled towards the back of the shark cage where I'm going to have another processing area for appliances and general kind of scrapping. Some stuff can go right into temporary holding. So these 55-gallon drums that I picked up are already coming in very useful. I'll have one for the aluminum. I'll have one for larger shred pieces. I have one for, that one I think will be like gutter, dirty aluminum downspouts and gutters and stuff. This barrel, plastic barrel that I found, I just shoved stuff in there when I was vacating the shark cage, but you can see I've got some brass and some copper that I need to figure out, separate and get put out. I've got 2 more of these 55-gallon drums down here. So I'll have plenty of room to put larger kind of things that are taking up space, waiting to go to the scrapyard. Just some miscellaneous stuff here. I just broke down a couple of HVACs, so I got to get this copper cleaned up still, and there's the rads from them. There's going to be a rack here for the bed frames, for my bed frame guy. So I can just, the idea being that there'll be kind of a rack probably right here, bring the bed frame in, put it on the rack, and then once a week, every other week, something like that, the bed frame guy can come get them, and those are out of the way. You recall these will hopefully become a rack for the Sharkmobile. Now that I'm moved into the next space, The next priority, I think, for me is to get some fabricators to get estimates on a custom design rack for the Shark Mobile. All right, so now we're going to move back into the large area general scrap processing. This, by the way, came just as I was vacating the shark cage, so I moved it here. I think it's going to make for a very interesting scrap session in its own right. It's a power supply system. What's Rescue Star? A power backup switching kind of system. So I think this is going to make for a really interesting scrap. So I haven't gotten to it at all yet. That will be its own kind of scrap. All right, so let's talk about but it gives you an idea of what I'm going to do with the larger item appliance kind of stuff. Main items come in. Before I do anything with them, we do some storing. I don't want to keep them around very long. Right now I've got a whole bunch of paper boxes and empty bins and stuff. That's all that stuff is right there. Plastic and boxes that are empty to get organized or made gone or something. Anyway, the idea is that an appliance would come in, get stored over here. Then I have big area right here where I can get all around it, work on it as I need to for the larger stuff. If it is something that can go up on a workbench, it'll go up here. You remember this from Shark Cage 1.0. And I can work on things here. Same kind of idea. I've got bins back there for the different typical kind of metals that will come off. And underneath it, so I've got motors, I've got some shred, I've got some die cast, mailboxes for the small shred metal stuff, trash bin. There's some more motors that I need to get to, plugs that I need to pull the ends off. There's satellite feed horns that need to get worked on. And this side of the shelving, this is primarily stuff from the bulk waste appliance scrap kind of stuff. So copper, plated brass, aluminum, that kind of stuff is going to go here. Right here's some Bear Bright that I've started to accumulate. These came out of a power switch. All right, nice heavy ballast that I can sell as ballast. I'm still trying to figure, my idea for this is a combination workbench, tool stage, and material stage, right? So let's get this brass out of the way. Got tools that I brought over from the shark cage in little bins. Probably will go down here, probably because they're down there right now, right? Get the cockroach spray out of the way. Material there. My idea is I'm going to put the vise right here on the corner because that allows me to either come at it when I'm cutting from this direction or come over to the other side and cut at it. Now I'm wrestling with, do I put the vise here because this vise rotates, so I can rotate it this way. It's just a little bit of a pain because of this beam, the way I would have to screw it down. Or do I just put it here in the middle because I can get at either side of it so I don't really need to turn it. I don't know. I'm still playing around with that idea. So that's the idea behind this bench that I found. Funny enough, I found this shelf kind of bench here when I was first looking at this space. It was out in the trash area, and I threw it in the Sharkmobile right away, and now it's back being used here again. Some of this shelf area may get shared with the electronic side. Some material, like when I'm breaking down certain appliance kind of things, there's connectors and stuff that could go into the connector areas, or here's stainless steel hardware that might be on either side. So we're gonna work that out as well. But that's the basic premise of our breakdown ideas and thoughts. This shelf was from a gas station it was one of those gas stations that was gas station, mini mart kind of combinations. It went out of business. This was in the trash, so they let me have it. It had different pegs on it. These baskets I got from the landlord at Shark Cage 1.0. He was getting rid of a bunch of this stuff. You may remember that from a previous video. I kept some of those, and now these are my ready tool kind of stores. So here's the big grinder, got my small grinder underneath of it. I've got my socket set underneath of that. Big grinder tools that I need, different safety covers, the wrenches, the blades will go here. And then these are tools that I access routinely when I am working on scrap here. This will get, of course, adjusted. The more I use a tool, the more it goes back. A tool that doesn't get used frequently will go into the other side so that it's there if I need it, but it's not taking up space. Now, behind that, I'm going to have a dedicated stripping area here for the wire. I just don't know exactly where that's going to come out, but here's my wire stripper. I've got bins there that have wire that needs to get stripped. So I don't know if I'm going to just leave that tucked behind there and then break it out as I need it, because this is on wheels, so this moves around easily. These are medical stands. They move around easily. They're amazingly stable too for this kind of stuff. The grinder, of course, is very useful to have this ready and available to check between, to grind something to see if it's aluminum or stainless, brass, copper, that kind of stuff. So you saw me use that in Shark Cage 1.0. That'll get used here again. And then over here, right now, I'm thinking this is just going to be my break room. I've got my mini fridge in here. I'm going to load it up with Gatorade and water and that kind of stuff. Coca-Cola, of course, because I'm not a Pepsi drinker, unless there's no Coca-Cola, and then I'll drink whatever I need to if I'm thirsty, right? But this corner, I'm not exactly sure if this is going to stay a break area, or maybe I turn this into my dedicated stripping area. I don't know. We'll see how that's going to play out. Minor inconvenience right now, there's only that plug, power plug there, and at the other end, at the entrance door. Not a major challenge for me because I can easily run an extension cord over to this side to power that stuff, or I could just bring that stuff over here. I have this bar, this power bar, that I got from a client. You saw me use this at Shark Cage 1.0. And of course the landlord is fine with me making adjustments. I got plenty of room to add to the box if I need to, and that run is there in case I want to pull through 220. Landlord's fine with me doing that if I want to. Bathroom, and then this area here would be staging of material that will go up on the website for sale. So you can see I've got these computer games. I find these games, and a bunch of games came from a computer store that I bought out all the inventory from over a year ago now. Old motherboards, older type, collectors type hard drives and CD-ROMs and things like that people might want to buy, just whether they work or not, just because they are collectible kind of older electronics. Other things that could still be useful for sale right now to people. But like, this is a marble wine dispenser. It's a big marble brick with a tap on it. You put a bottle of wine upside down in it. It's kind of cool for parties. I don't know if these gauges are accurate, but I just couldn't bring myself to break them down, so those might go up for sale. Hard drives, those are 1 terabyte and greater hard drives. Some old tools that I find, those will go up for sale. So now that I'm resettled in again to the Shark Cage, I need to spend some time getting the website up to speed for selling things off of the website. I also have all the stickers that people have been sending me are here down in that box. I got to figure out the right place for the sticker board so that I can start finally putting up everybody's stickers. All right, that is the plan. Now, I would love to hear your comments on the plan. You don't need to comment on how I can't park the Sharkmobile straight. I'm working on that. But if you saw something and you said, oh, Shark, you really ought to be doing this, or what have you thought about doing that? I'd love to hear your comments on how I could make some changes to make the layout more efficient, or work better, or just, you know, your thoughts in general. I've got this cart here that right now is not being used for anything. I'm trying to decide what I want to do with it. I had thought about using it as my tool cart, but then I like the idea of having the tools out where I can see them and get at them much easier. So I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with this charging cart. I haven't done anything to it. I mean, literally, I brought it back from the auction. When I got it, I paid, I don't know, 25 bucks for it or something like that. I don't know what's going to happen to it yet. This food processor I'm hanging on to because it still works, and I'm going to mess around with using it to see if I can pulverize gold connector ends or that kind of stuff. I've tried it once with the telephone wire plugs, doesn't do anything, but I want to mess around with some things there. Oh, this is just for decoration. I got to find it here. Let's just put you, I don't know, we're going to put you right up here for now. It's one of my favorite heat exchangers. I just think it's so cool looking. So it's just up there for decoration. And then a lot of these things, like I said, I still need to get through them. They've come over from the shark cage. They need to get organized and processed, and then that stuff will be out of the way. The idea is that there's going to be a nice clean run from the Sharkmobile all the way back, and eventually when I have a trailer, the trailer will probably come back to this area in here where I'm standing. So that's the other aspect, is that I need to have enough room that I can back a trailer in and out when I'm using the trailer, or the trailer would just be here and, you know, just pull it when I need it. Don't have the trailer right now, so it's not a critical issue at this point. All right, I've got some stuff from one of my clients that called me up and gave me a bunch of stuff. I picked that up on the way down here. I need to get the truck unloaded, and I want to mess around with getting those broken down to refine my process, but also I need to start getting things moving again and get the cash flow back up after the move. Again, I look forward to all of your comments and suggestions on Shark Cage 2.0. Have a great day, everybody.